you an example. There is no breakfast buffet anymore,
Mm.
though they have to serve on a table. When you stay in a hotel and you walk in a hotel, you have to have a mask as well. So is it holiday feeling or is it a hospital feeling? This is a big question. And there's another big question, the distance. So in a breakfast room, maybe for 100 people, you can seat only 50 people. So you have to change the breakfast time as well. On the other hand is, okay, if it's a holiday hotel, for example, and two families are sitting there with children and all these kind of things, and the children would like to talk to each other or play with each other,
Yeah.
it's forbidden.
Oh.
Though it's a big problem. I mean, okay, the tourism starts maybe, but it's a totally different feeling. And maybe some people think, okay, we like to go there, but if we have to take a mask, if we have the distance, if we have to think, so the hotel is not really good.
Mhm.
On the other hand, maybe it's the same like in your country as well. So some hotels make their own calculation that, okay, we can be profitable when we have 75% of the occupation. So if we have only maybe 20%, so we are dying slowly. And this is a question if you should, some hotels or some restaurants are saying we don't open because for these few people, we have to deliver a good service. We have to do all these kind of things. We can't handle it. And so maybe we are dying. The other hand is for the travel agencies. The travel agencies, what should they sell now? They can't sell anything, even not a hotel. There is no plane going on. There's a lot of airports closed, even in Berlin, in the capital, there's a whole airport, it's closed. And we have a lot of problems as well with Lufthansa. So Lufthansa is totally grounded. Nobody knows really when it's going up. So for the tourism, it could be when they start again, maybe a lot of destinations are canceled. Maybe some low-cost carrier can survive, and maybe some low-cost carrier takes the destination. But really what's going on with that, nobody knows. On the other hand is a big problem as well. The biggest tour operator in the world, TUI, though he has a lot of problems as well, the destinations are closed and nobody knows really when it's going up. And now the people are really asking, okay, when I'm going to that country or that country, does they have enough beds if something's happened? What's with hospital, with hygienic? What is with the knowledge? What is with this kind of things? But the main thing is, even in Germany, the German government is saying it's forbidden until mid of June to go outside of Europe. So I couldn't come to your country. And this is maybe, it's a kind of recommendation. It means if I would go there and something would happen, maybe the travel insurance is not paying as well. Because the government is telling, don't go outside of Europe. And now they start slowly countries to open the border that we can go for holiday. Everybody knows now they make money from the tourism, but nobody knows really when they can start again. And for the university in Batumi, okay, there was a question that what they can teach and all these kind of things. Now there's a new subject, what you can do in your country as well. So the tour guides and all these people, if the guests are coming, you should know how to behave. You should know how to teach. The countryside, the farmer, maybe they're not really losing a lot because in a countryside, it's it's more safe than in a big city like in Berlin, Moscow, Rio, New York, and all these kind of things. But there's another maybe strange situation in your country because you're not far away from Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, the corona is starting. In Russia, so Corona is starting as well. What's going on in South America and Brazil and everything? Everybody knows it's going on. So the people here are afraid as well, and they maybe the Corona is coming back for some reason. So the question you had, there will be a tourism after Corona, but when, we don't know it. And it's totally in a different way. It's starting really slowly. And if it's really profitable, nobody knows at the moment. This is a big, big problem. And also there's a big problem, sorry, you know, even Lufthansa fired 12,000 people. A lot of supermarkets, a lot of people are unemployed. So for the future, the question is if they have money for this year, for next year, or for 2020, 22, if they can go for some holidays, if they can go around. But it's always a but. We have to believe, we have to hope. But this year is gone. Even if you get some guests or things like that, you're not profitable, not at all. And for the next year, might be it's coming back slowly. But there's a lot of changes in hotels, in restaurants, at the airports, in airplanes, and then. What they found out as well is the virus is going around when you have air-conditioned office or air-conditioned like in a plane. This is really dangerous. So when you sit in a plane, maybe for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, maybe you have to have a mask. But if somebody is coughing or somebody has a virus, so what are you doing? Some countries preparing thing, okay, we're doing, how should they, when the people are arriving at the airport, we measure the temperature and check everything. Okay, it's good. And some people think we make a little test and you have to wait 3 hours and then you get the results and then you can stay or you have to go back. But what are you doing if somebody, some results are positive? So the whole plane has to go back or what's going on? There is, I mean, the tourism industry is what they found out as well now. It's everybody was happy at the beginning. Oh, the water is clean, the air is clean, the fish are coming back in Venice and all these kind of things. Everybody was happy. But now the people realize, okay, the money is not coming anymore. This is another problem. And this will be maybe an economy problem that the people don't have enough money to survive. So for the future it's you know it's a big black hole, but always you have to believe in thing. Okay, at the end there is some lights coming up. You know, I have a company in Berlin as well. It's still closed, so nobody's sitting here except me doing something, and I have to wait. What's going on afterwards? I have no idea. And for the tourism as well, when they start from the 15th of June, we can go for holidays maybe in Austria. Okay, maybe we can go there. But how many hotels are open? How many restaurants are open? And all these kind of things. What do we have to behave? But until the German government, it's not only Germany, it's other governments as well, I think we can't go outside of Europe. So it's a shit for you in some ways. There any question already?
I have a question. I was talking with our partner from Italy. They were telling that do you think that after this pandemic, the countries will morely agitate their citizens to travel inside of their country, not to travel outside the country? Do you think that there will be this kind of phenomenon that the people mostly will travel in their countries?
This is a recommendation in Germany, not only in Germany. So if you want to go, if you want to do some holidays, stay in your country. Stay in your country and go to the countryside, or even if you go to the beach, you have to have the distance and all this kind of things. So it might be for the neighborhood countries like Czech, like Belgium, France, so the border will be open, but it will be more or less stay in Europe. So it's easy to go back if something's happened, if the virus coming back. And you can take the car. It's at the moment the safest transportation, because in plane, as I told you, in train maybe as well, or you take the bicycle and you walk and you do some holidays for this. So the problem is for you, you can do more or less the same. Stay at home. Now we can go. Any other question?
The other question. So, what are the steps that are taken by the countries that we call top tourism countries? What support are they giving to tourism industry so to make it easier to go through this time for the sector?
Those are tourism how should they country like Spain and Italy, they're missing, but they can't do it. They're still locked down. They still close the country. It's not allowed to go through the country, or it's not allowed to come from Germany to Italy. So now our foreign minister, they're speaking with a foreign minister from Italy or from Spain or from Austria, all these countries, and they make a special deal. If the people can come again, the borders are getting open again slowly, how it was before, but until now they control it still. So, but the air, how should the air industry, the airplane industry, I think it takes 1 or 2 or 3 years. And even Lufthansa's collapsed, so the government from Germany has to take over minimum 25% from the stocks, and it's maybe 9 billion euro and all this kind of things. Otherwise, Lufthansa is bankrupt.
Yeah, it's really sad thing. What does UNWTO say about the pandemic and the future of tourism? What are the recommendations?
More or less, the recommendation is what the countries are saying. You have to be careful. You know, the problem is a lot of people, even what's going on with him? Is he coming back? Is it WHO? It's not really give recommendation about holidays. So it's more or less, in Germany we have 2 recommendations. It's a state and there's a travel industry. Both are saying stay at home, stay in Germany, or stay in Europe. And it means for the insurance and everything, they're not paying if something's happened.
Because they told that you should stay at home.
Exactly. Though in some ways, it's not really saying, okay, we close the border from Europe, or each country is closing the border, but it seems to be a little bit like that. So even to go to America, you can't do it, and. And it's maybe only few people coming, but few people, it's not enough for surviving the whole industry and all this kind of things, even in Dushanbe or in other things as well. Maybe we can ask Mr. Merab from the situation, because Batumi is definitely a holiday situation. As long as I remember, you had last year 7 million tourists from all over the world and from
Only
Georgia as well. And it's only Batumi. So Batumi needs the tourists. And as long as I know everything is locked down and the streets are empty, but what's the plan from there, Batu Numbera?
First of all, thanks a lot for your invitation. Thanks to Mr. Kurt to share information about this webinar, and thank you to you, Mr. Faruk, for your invitation.
You're welcome.
I do not like to be pessimist, but there is really big but, because we still do not know nature of the coronavirus. Each day we are checking also the statistics, and unfortunately yesterday was the day when we get one of the most infection. Yesterday was more than 100,000 around the world. So it means that we should adapt to live with coronavirus. But how we can adapt with the tourism and with the coronavirus, it's really difficult. So what we are doing now, we are starting to open economy, but unfortunately, the situation is like it's that coronavirus would not go out of Earth. So we should live with it, but how we can do it, it's really another question. So it's really important. First of all, we should think about health, and we are starting to open our economy really step by step. And from 15th of June, we are starting to open domestic tourism. And from 1st of July, we are planning to open also international tourism, but it's only thing what we are planning. Because of, as you know, nobody knows the nature of the virus. It means that we should control the situation around the world. So fortunately, we are controlling situation. And by the way, last day we had only 2 infection, 2 new case. So it means that we are going down. So, and the people who are already healthy, infected people, it's 2 times more than infected people. So it means that we can open some domestic tourism, but as if somebody will ask me, is it possible to open international tourism? I can tell them that it's during next 2 months. I think it will be impossible, because then we can't control the situation. Now, to close the borders, we use our borders. We closed all shops, all cinemas, all operas, and we are controlling now situation. But if we will open any field, then I think we can't control it. And there is second important thing that we should adapt also, that we will get more and more poor people around the world, and the economy will go down and go down. If we will compare, for example, economic crisis to 2008 and 9, it was world economic crisis. And if we will compare only one of the more developed countries, for example, Germany, they did not have any decrease during economic crisis 2008 and 2009. But now, with this coronavirus, they have already decreasing, and there is the economy going down 2%, more than 2%. So it means around the world will go this situation. So, but only think what we can to do, it's to open domestic tourism, to help the local people to go around the country. Of course, it's really good idea to open borders, to get more and more international tourists, but it will be not good decision in my opinion. So But how we can work also with this situation with the local people, because a lot of people also in Georgia and around the world lost their job. And government, our local government also, and our country government are helping them. They are subsidizing them some of money, but it's not for travel. It's just for meal, just for medicine. So it's not enough for travel. So the tourism, for example, if you compare also the tourist incomes last year, we have decreasing this year in April more than 97%.
Oh,
It will be around the world like it. So 97%, it means we got zero incomes from tourism. It's really nothing. So I think we should open also restaurants, but we should be really careful because we still do not know the nature of the virus. So we are looking the recommendation from the medicine person. So what they will do, what will be the decision, but also really interesting work health organization. So there is a lot of things with Trump and work with Trump, and he cancelled financing toward World Health Organization. And by the way, we had yesterday a webinar also with the World Tourism Organization, and they are trying also to open more and more access with the online platform, with the e-learning platforms, and they are organizing global education system with the e-learning process. So it means that they are not ready also to open the world, because they are still working if this situation will go on, how they can help industry and education sector. So we had, as I mentioned, we had communication with World Tourism Organization to the education direction yesterday, but they have more information than we, and they are still dealing and still working with the platforms. Sam's expectation, it means that Sam's expectation is that it's not will finish after 1 week or after 1 month, because of they are still working.
May I add something?
yeah, sure.
I think the most, how should they, okay, we know it's now really a negative and we have to find some solution and all this kind of things. So more or less each company, each hotel, each country has more to show up what kind of security you have in your country, what kind of security, health security you have in your hotel, what you do as a tour guide, as a tour operator. And I think more and more will be for the future, even the tour operator in Germany think, okay, if you stay in that hotel, they know the international requirements for the health care, they know the information. And for some people, they are important as well now. If you go to this country, what about the medicine? Does it have enough beds in hospitals? And what does they know? It's something coming up. And at the moment, even Germany was saying, okay, for the tourists are still outside of Germany, we don't take them back. They have to pay for that. They have to find their own way. So I know some people are still staying in America because America, the border is closed. Or you have to go to quarantine, or you have to do things like that and all this kind of. So at the moment, if you want to stay for 2 or 3 days somewhere, and you have to go to quarantine, or you have to check it, or you have to wait at the airport 4 or 5 hours because they make a quick test and all this kind of things. Nobody's going there. Nobody's using it. And I know a lot of people think they're not flying to London from Berlin. They take the train going to Paris and takes the train from Paris to London. It's more safe.
More safe.
Yes. So there is a lot of things what the government has to write down. The government has to think about, each government, I mean, about their own national health security, what's going on, if it's coming up, what kind of, how should they, recommendations they give. And in some ways, you know, Germany is bigger than Tajikistan or Georgia. So even in Germany, they said, okay, now the local departments can make decisions, because it could be in a country that there is no virus, nothing at all, but there is one hotspot for some reason, and there's a lot of virus, so they can lock down everything in this region, in this city, in this, how should I, these things like this. And I think each country should prepare something like that. If you have something only, for example, in Georgia and Batumi, so, or in Tbilisi, there's still the virus going on, but not in Batumi. So you have to prepare, or you have to have the possibility to say, okay, can come to Georgia, can come to Batumi, but with social distance and. And you have to train the, how should they, the staff in hotels as well. Don't shake hands, don't say hello. There is no buffet in the morning, there is no buffet in the evening, nothing at all. And you have to show it and to tell to the tourists as well.
Do you think that tourists will still enjoy this kind of traveling, because he will be every time thinking, oh, there's a virus somewhere, so
yeah, maybe. So I'm not really scared of the virus, you know, even I'm in my best age and all these kind of things, but I'm not enjoying to stay in a hotel with a mask. You know, when you have sauna, spa, and you could do all these kind of things, but now it's forbidden, it's closed. Or when you sit in a breakfast room, you know, sometimes you have a nice chat with your neighbor, or you do some exercise together, and now you can't do it. So I wouldn't stay in a hotel, except if I want to stay in a hotel, I want to be alone, I want to see something different, but it's not like that. And at the moment, I wouldn't say I'm going away to another country. I'm going to Spain, to Turkey, or go around. I don't do it. It's how should they? It's in one point too dangerous. Second point is if I have enough money for that. And the third point is I don't want to go too far away from my hometown, because I know, okay, here more or less I'm more or less safe. The only thing is if some people really, how should they, mountain hiking, climbing and all these kind of things, going to the farmer, to the guest house. The guest house, the farmer, they will get some business as well. Maybe not as much as last year, but people think, okay, I'm getting mad when I'm staying always in my home. I'm getting mad when I'm staying with my whole family. And you know, this is another psychological point as well. So everybody was happy to work, though everybody was alone. And now the whole family is staying together in a small flat. And you see your wife the whole day and your grandmother the whole day, the kids the whole day. And this is a big problem. And though the possibility to see something different could be really as a farmer, the countryside. But it's for each country, what Mr. Marab was saying as well. So it could be interesting for the locals. But to fly now 5,000 kilometers, it's only for people who really want to hike, to get up to the peak of a mountain and all these kind of things. But, you know, if you can't do it this year, maybe you can do it next year.
Do you see anything positive in this situation? Maybe for some companies that were just starting their business, maybe it's the time to analyze something. Maybe do you see anything positive in this situation?
And for some countries, it's positive really to think about it if we have to go to another country, or we can do some holiday in your own country. I think this could be positive. So positive is for the nature, you know, the air is more clean, the water is cleaner, and. And the opposite of this is really the question, do I need a cruise line to go on a ship and 3,000 or 4,000 people really together for 2 or 3 weeks? And if something happened, you know that it's happened, 2 or 3 cruise line, nobody could go off. Positive is, okay, I mean, for all the artists, for all the musicians, all these kind of things, the creativity is increasing.
Yeah.
We have to learn it, and you know, even now with Zoom. So maybe in the future will be interesting as well. Does the politics has to fly around for half an hour meeting, or maybe they can use Zoom or e-learning and all these kind of things much more. And the future will be maybe to invest in this kind of technical things as well, and using more e-learning and using for conferences and all these kind of things. It's much better for the nature. Really, for tour guides or travel agency, they're dying. They're really dying, and we will, you know, now we are at the beginning of the situation, and what's really going on, how many hotels can survive, how many restaurants can survive, how many travel agencies can survive. Nobody knows. And I know in Germany now the unemployment rate is increasing, not as much like in America, okay, because the German government is helping, supporting, and giving loans and giving credits and. But you know, even when you get a credit, you have to pay it back.
Yeah, sure.
That's another question. So you know, when you open it, some restaurants, or even for me as an owner from a gym, when I open it, I don't know how many people are coming. So I have not the same results as before, and I have to pay back a loan. Maybe, okay, I switch off the light, I close it. And there's a lot of little shops as well saying, okay, I can't survive. You can do it for 1 or 2 months, but now it's 3 months. And even when the government allow us to travel, who is traveling? In this case, when you know you lose your job, you lose, maybe both, you lose your job, and this will be, but on the other hand, the positive side is the Germans, you know, had been #1 for traveling, spending money outside. And so I think it's coming back again, but it takes 1 or 2 years if the virus is not coming back.
I will add a little bit, if it's possible, about the positive things. So now we really get tests of the globalization. So it means that now we should sit together and we should work how we should work for future. Yeah. And there was also some question, like development of video tools. Do you think it's good idea or not? Of course, now we have more free time. Unfortunately, we like it or do not like it, we have more free time. We are sitting at home. Some people are working, like people from medicine sector and this kind of people. But now we should use, especially the tourist sector, should use this time for marketing. And now we should make rebranding of our countries. So it means that if we will make like video tours, their marketing, Facebook platforms, we should make active reclams. Now we do not, and by the way, it's one of the not expensive things. So we are not paying for CNN or for BBC for the TV reclam. So we should sit at office or at home and should write a lot of emails, we should share information about our country. So it means if we will have also this kind of video tours or this kind of the brochures, we should spend and share this kind of information. Now, we like it or do not like, it means that this year the tourism will decrease. unfortunately, so we should not have expectations that the virus will go out after 1 month. No, unfortunately, no. And like countries like USA, like Germany, like the great countries, so-called, yeah, so-called, they have a lot of infection and a lot of these people. So it means they can't, their health sector did not work really. Like Italy, Spain, if you will compare, for example, health sector from Georgia and Italy, it's unbelievable. They are 1,000 times developed, yes,
Yeah.
but do not work. And what it means that we should be a little bit careful. Now, what we should do is only things to make marketing and branding our countries, our tours, our cities, that it's safety. No, we do not spend time to bring some students this year or this summer. We should think for future. I hope that 2021 will great, like will be comeback tourism. Not really 2020. We should not have any expectation about it. It will be one of the wrong things what we will do this year. Just we should think now for future. No, we should not live for this day, for future. It will be one of the most important things to work about it. And it will be helpful for future definitely. There is one most important thing what the tourist sector should do. And also, of course, a lot of companies, a lot of restaurants, a lot of hotels are credits from bank. In this case, I think the government should help. And we have, after first infection in Georgia, for example, government help, government worked with bank sector and financial sector, and they postponed already 3 months the credits. But now, end of May, 3 months will go also, and now, and this postpone was for everybody, for the people, for the business, for normal people, for everybody. Now what the government are trying to do to postpone more 3 months only for business sector, especially tourist sector, not the normal peoples, because we already opened some shops, but we still have not public transport. So it means that we should use this time really to work with our international partners. So with our so target market to bring them for future in our country. What are you saying, Mr.?
Yeah, that's the answer that I wanted to to listen from you. So yeah, really, it's a good time for us to prepare our concept. So the concept of our business, the brand of our business, to work with our international partners and to communicate with them. Yeah, it's a great answer, I think. Kurt, do you want to say anything about this?
It's more or less exactly what Mr. Merab is saying, or what we could do now, really to think about it. But, you know, I'm always saying think big. Yes, in this case, we should start with small amount, with few tourists, but we can make new videos. Everybody can do it and can present it and can maybe do some renovation, what a lot of people are doing, and think about this. I know it's always when you don't have money, you can't make a renovation. But there will be definitely a time after Corona, and there will be tourism as well, and it's coming. But it takes long time. And a lot of people needs help, maybe more than 12 months or more than 2 years. But you know, there should be a future for the young people as well, for the students and all these kind of things. And we have to believe and to wait, and hopefully maybe the last 6 months in this year, we can start slowly, but then we have to know, okay, we can't give a hug, we need a mask, we we should prepare ourselves. We have to inform the farmers as well, the hotels as well. And if it's an international hotel, okay, they have their own standards, but if it's a local hotel, we have to tell them.
Here's a question.
I think it's...
Sorry, the most important thing should be all marketing, all rebranding, it should be under this one strategy. So it means that the tourist sector should sit together country by country, and they should forget them local competitors, and they should write down what they need for future.
Yes.
We can't do like one company is doing these reclams, one company is doing these promotions. No, it will be not work, unfortunately. So we should sit together, country by country, the companies, we should forget about competition and we should share information. And now it's really time, it's a problem, especially post-Soviet Union countries, that we have not any tourist association, really working tourist association. Of course, there is some associations, tourism on hotels association and etc., but they are not really working. It's on the paper only. Now we need really practice. So we should make this kind of association to bring all companies together, to bring all companies on the table, one table, and write down what we should do. So it means, so a lot of countries made a lot of strategy about anti-corona, how they should deal, how to work. But now the world need after the strategy after corona.
Yeah,
now it means that country by country should work with this strategy, and of course later the presidents or the politics should sit also together. It means that the tourist sector should decide this problem himself. Of course, they need some support from government, but we should make decision. We should tell them that this is our strategy. We are planning to do this, and we need your help in this case, and in this case. Because like country, Georgia, developing countries, so-called developing countries, the budget, we have limited budgets. Country can't give us a lot of money, everybody knows. So we should ask step by step also government to support us. And also, it's really easy now to work with the embassies which are sitting outside of countries, because we do not know really nature of the virus figures. What I checked now, it's increasing and it's going, unfortunately, this virus will going, unfortunately, to the developing country, to the poor countries. It means we should be realists. It means that we will have more and more dead people. More and more dead people. It will be not stopped with the millions.
No.
It will go and go and go. So in this case, we should be careful. So if we'd like to tourism work, it will work, but not this year, unfortunately, not this summer. It will be, fortunately, I'm not quite sure, but for 2020, 21. This is my opinion, but we should use this time now.
I totally agree with Mr. Merabs. This could be a really good opportunity for each country, for each tourism companies, sector to organize new, and not to think to my company. We have to think government has to support, to understand, and maybe to help us as well. And then the countries has to speak with each country again. But the opportunity is really to organize a little bit your own tourism industry in your country.
This is a question. Can you tell about negative and positive impact of Silk Visa initiative to development of the tourism sector in Tajikistan. Silk visa, I think it's a visa between the countries of Great Silk Road.
You know, the impact is okay. The Silk Road, the Great Silk Road, at the moment, nothing is really great. You know, it's one point. But to come to Tajikistan, you need airplanes. And I don't know how many planes or how many connections you still have. Even in you know, from which country the connection are coming.
Mhm.
So first of all, when it's open, the tourism, I think the countryside or the Silk Road of this kind of Silk Road will definitely coming back, but in which way? It's a problem. When you say, okay, groups over 10 people are not allowed. And when you have 20 people and that I need 2 groups, 2 guides, 2 buses, and, it's too expensive. It's too expensive to organize and all these kind of things. The problem is really we don't know what Mr. Merab is saying. At the moment, we don't know, and it's too dangerous because the poor countries like in India, like in South America and Africa, there's a lot of information we don't know. So how to be afraid to do something, it's increasing definitely for the future. And even if you say, okay, in our countries there's nothing, but you have to go there. But anyway, it's always a but. I hate to say always but we have to hope, and it's coming back, but it takes the positive side. We have to reorganize ourselves, and or we can reorganize ourselves. We can do a lot for the tourism. We have to give hope, and we have to wait, and maybe the people are coming back again.
We should think, do we need egg today or chicken tomorrow?
Oh.
I would like to have both.
Yes.
So we should be really careful, because if we will have some tourists today, we will not get really impact from it. We will not get really money. We will not be rich. But there is really important thing. After it, maybe, and there is a lot of maybe, we can't control the virus. It
Exactly.
will be more dangerous.
I have a question.
Yeah.
For example, not for example, if the virus finishes, if all the ill people get healed, what do you think how the industry will change? Because as we know, air flight companies, they're changing the check of it, because I heard that they will check your temperature, they will give you maybe a mask. What do you see? What will be the industry after the pandemic? What kind will it be?
As long as they don't find anything against the virus is not gone. The virus will be, and we have to live with the virus. You know, there's no choice, there's no answer, there's nothing. So this is one point. So exactly, we have to find a way. We have to think about it, how we can do it. If they find out the mask will help, so everybody in a plane have to have a mask. And there will be, in some countries, you have a quick test. It's a test, it takes 3 hours. They make a test if you have it or you don't have it. So maybe when you fly out, you have to make a test. And when you come to another country, you have to make a test again, maybe. So it means when you fly 5 hours, waiting time, test time, and all these kind of things is a whole day.
Yeah.
Though a lot of people think, okay, why should I do it? It's one point. Though definitely is what we should do, and you as well, or your country, it's make contracts with the neighborhood countries and think, okay, first of all, the locals, the neighborhood countries, they can come by car, by train, or things like that. And for the future with the airplanes, okay, we don't know yet who's surviving. We don't know yet how many planes are coming.
But the reality is that we should not hang up with the international tourism this year.
No. No.
We should
Exactly.
one of the now we have chance to develop domestic tourism. If we will help our domestic tourists, it means that we will be ready, more ready for future. One of the most recommendation for me is that we should not hanging up with the international tours. We should forget for this year. We should not pay for it now because we will not get any impact from it. We should forget it, but we should work for future.
Absolutely. So, Faruk, I hope it was a little bit interesting. I have to go to another meeting.
Yeah, sure.
And if there are any questions,
Yeah.
don't hesitate, and maybe we can do it again in 1 week or 2 weeks again.
Sure, sure. It was really interesting. Thank you, Mr. Kurt, Mr. Mirab. If anyone has a question, you are free to ask. But if you don't have a question, I want to thank one more time the speakers, the participants. It was really interesting. We got the answer for some of our questions. I think that, yes, we can do it one more time.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
See you and take care.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.